Hello partners, my name is Ren Cipta Julanda and welcome back to Best Partner Education channel. Before we start the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and also click the likes button and also the subscription bell to get more information about our channel, okay? So now let's get into the video. In this video, we would like to talk about and to continue about our discussion in listening, particularly in section 4. In the previous video you have seen before, we discussed about section 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now in section 4 here, it's not that different from section 1 because the number of the questions is pretty much the same like in section 1, which is 10 questions. In here, as you can see on the screen, there are 31 until 40, so it's 10 questions. And it's pretty much the same way like in section 1 before that we have discussed, which is a note completion, and it's going to be in form of a fill in the blank type of questions. Right, now before we start the video, don't forget the 4 steps that I mentioned to you before, guys, which is the first is that you need to see and you need to understand the instruction first, and the instruction in this section you can find it in the same place like in the previous section before, which is on top of the questions, which is this one. In section 4 here, simply the instruction mentioned that you need to write one word only, which means it's a word, not numbers or anything, just a word. So I need to remind you with that one. And please do remember that most of the answers probably will be in form of a noun. Okay, a noun, or perhaps it could be also an adjective, or perhaps it's a verb, but mostly it's going to be a noun. Okay, now let's see, and today we're going to discuss section 4, and we're going to do number 31 until 34, okay, as an example for you. So you can do the rest of the tests here if you want to continue discussing the test and so on. So don't forget to come to Best Partner Education channel, to Best Partner Education, and take class with us. Either it's online or offline. We will give you the best service for our IELTS preparation test, okay? Now, let's begin with our discussion. First of all, okay, again with the steps, don't forget. So I mentioned 2 of them, right? The instruction and also, oh yeah, sorry, just one before, sorry. And now let's get into the second steps, which is you need to understand the, okay, you need to understand the topic. The topic here, as mentioned, it's located here on top of the introduction here on the screen. It's about marine renewable energy or ocean energy. Now, I need to remind you that in section 4, it's going to be it's going to be a monologue, okay? It's going to be a monologue. Now, the monologue itself, it's going to be about a lecture. So you're going to listen to a lecturer or a professor talking about a certain topic, and the topic here is about marine renewable energy or an ocean energy, which means that it is something related with science, which means it's something related with an oceanography or something like that. And you need to really heed carefully and also try to dig deeper about your prior knowledge over this particular topic. If you don't have the initial knowledge about this one, don't worry, because the clues are over there, and all we have to do is to just find the clues and try to predict the best answer for that, which is going to be in the steps 3, which is to simply analyze the number, analyze each question here, and try to find the clues here and try to predict, and also to anticipate what kind of words that might be coming out from the audio itself, and it can be an answer. So in here, in number 31 and 34, as mentioned, is going to be in form of a note completion. And after that, step 4 is focusing. Remember, to do the focus, you need to do step 2 and 3. If you do not do the step 2 and 3, then it's going to be problematic for you to answer each question here. Now, let's see, okay, how to answer this one. Well, it's simply you need to check on and try to see the crumbs on the left and right of the answer of the question itself. The question in number 31, for example, like in here, it is located after growth in population. So growth in population is something that you need to listen carefully. It doesn't have to be literally sounded growth in population. It could be the other things. The other things could be mentioned about increase, or perhaps something related with the growth itself. So you need to find and figure out the closest meaning, and also not the closest meaning, but the closest word that has a similar meaning with growth itself. So you need to be really careful with that. And need I remind you that sometimes they do not put the position of the question here literally the same like in the audio. They could be, for example, the answer might be mentioned before the word of growth in population or the similar word with that one. So you need to be really careful on the position of the question itself. Okay, now, and don't worry, in section 4 it's pretty much the same like in the any other listening section, which means that the audio will be following the question systematically. It's going to be systematically, and it's not going to be coming up in random. So just don't worry about it. All you have to do is to understand the position of yourself, and that's the reason why they mention something like introduction in the bold words, and also in wave energy as well here. So why they bolded it? Because it's a clue, it's a checkpoint for you to understand. And each time they want to mention about, let's say in here, what's needed, they will also mention about that, but not literally, but they might be paraphrase it a little bit, so that it's going to be a bit challenging for you for your listening test. Okay, so for that one, and in here, that's for 31. So possibly you need to listen on something related with growth itself. Okay, and remember the position. It could be in the before the growth in population or behind it. So you need to be really careful with that. And then number 32, it's simple. You need to listen to wave energy. After they mention about wave energy and a little bit about the introduction, they will mention about the advantage. The word advantage can be replaced with something like a positive impact, or something, or for example like something that has a high amount of advantageous function or something like that. So they might paraphrase the advantage itself and change it into other words. And in here, waves provide a blah 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 source of renewable energy. Now remember the position, it could be in the first and the back. Either it's in the first of, like in this one mentioned in the question section here mentioned that it's a blah 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 source of renewable energy. It could be literally that way, or perhaps they change the position, so they put the answer itself behind the word of source of renewable energy, or perhaps it's behind the waves provide. Waves provides a blah blah blah, or perhaps waves provide, it's probably in front of waves provide, and so on. So the position itself, you need to understand it. And if I were you guys, I would always try to be more sensitive listening to the audio after they mention about the word advantage or any other words related with that. Okay, after that one, that's for number 32. And 33 here, waves can move in any blah blah blah. So you need to listen carefully whenever they mention the word any, or perhaps many, or perhaps any other words related with that one. Remember, the position can be in front or in the back. And number 34, movement of sand on the blah 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 of the ocean may be affected. Now, same thing happening. It could be before of the ocean, or perhaps at the beginning of the ocean. So this probably an object, because why is it an object or a noun? Because there is the word the there. Every time there's a the in front of the question or the blank space, it's possibly a noun. So you need to focus on that particular word itself. Okay, now let's start training with the audio. I will play the audio, and for you guys, try to answer number 31 and 34. After that, we're going to discuss about that. Okay, right, so good luck and try your best on answering 31, 34.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Producing enough energy to meet our needs has become a serious problem. Demand is rising rapidly because of the world's increasing population and expanding industry. Burning fossil fuels like gas, coal and oil seriously damages the environment, and they'll eventually run out. For a number of years now, scientists have been working out how we can derive energy from renewable sources, such as the sun and wind, without causing pollution. Today, I'll outline marine renewable energy, also called ocean energy, which harnesses the movement of the oceans. Marine renewable energy can be divided into three main categories: wave energy, energy and ocean thermal energy conversion. And I'll say a few words about each one. First, wave energy. Numerous devices have been invented to harvest wave energy with names such as Wave Dragon, the Penguin, and Mighty Whale. And research is going on to try and come up with a really efficient method. This form of energy has plenty of potential as the source is constant and there's no danger of waves coming to a standstill. Electricity can be generated using onshore systems, using a reservoir or offshore systems. But the problem with ocean waves is that they're erratic, with the wind making them travel in every direction. This adds to the difficulty of creating efficient technology. Ideally, all the waves would travel smoothly and regularly along the same straight line. Another drawback is that sand and other sediment on the ocean floor might be stopped from flowing normally, which can lead to environmental problems.
Alright guys, so can you answer it all? I hope that you can do it. And don't worry, if you miss it, you can replay the audio before from the previous scene and try to do it again before you get into the discussion section, this one. Okay? Now we get into the discussion section now. Let's see whether your answer is correct or not. So let's say number 31 here. In 31 here, let me replay some of that audio.
Italy, because of the world's increasing population and expanding industry.
Now, it is located at the very beginning of the audio itself. They mention about the increasing in population. They do not mention about growth, but they change it into increasing. And also after that word,
and expanding industry.
And expanding industry. Now, the word of increasing, or expanding here is replaced by growth. So growth here is pretty much the same like the increasing and expanding. So that's why in this particular section, the answer it should be industry. Yeah, the word industry. Because again, the word of increasing and expansion are replaced by growth. So with that being said, then the answer is industry because both of them are being mentioned and this is the one that being missing. Okay, now let's see on number 32 then.
Burning fossil fuels like gas, coal and oil seriously damages the environment and they'll eventually run out. For a number of years now, scientists have been working out how we can derive energy from renewable sources, such as the sun and wind, without causing pollution.
Alright, now you are in here. So the audio mentioned renewable energy sources, methods that won't create pollution. So now you are there, and number 32 is number 32, 33 and 34 is on their way because after this they will mention about wave energy.
Today, I'll outline marine renewable energy, also called ocean energy, which harnesses the movement of the oceans. Marine renewable energy can be divided into three main categories: wave energy, tidal energy, and ocean thermal energy conversion.
So they mention about those three, but of course the first thing that they will mention deeply is going to be wave energy, and it's going to be after this.
And I'll say a few words about each one. First, wave energy.
Now you are in wave energy. 32 and 33 and 34 is on their way.
Numerous devices have been invented to harvest wave energy with names such as Wave Dragon, the Penguin, and Mighty Whale. And research is going on to try and come up with a really efficient method. This form of energy has plenty of potential as the source is constant and there's no danger of waves coming to a standstill.
Okay, so they do not mention about the word advantage, but they mention about efficient way, and also they mention something like
wave energy with names such as Wave Dragon, and there's no danger. This form of energy has plenty of potential.
And they mention about the plenty of potential in which it is something related with the advantages itself.
As the source is constant and there's no...
And they mention the word source here. The source is constant, but the word constant here is supposedly after source, right? However, again, as I mentioned before, you need to really pay attention with the position of the word. The word constant here is at the beginning of the word source, because that's just the way they put the position of the question itself. So again, they not miss it, but they switch it. So they switch the word source into back, and then the word constant into the word, and then what I mean is they paraphrase it. They replace the position of source and they change it into the back of the constant. So again, it is something that you really need to pay attention on and be careful. And number 33 then.
Dangerous waves coming to a standstill. Electricity can be generated using onshore systems, using a reservoir, or offshore systems. But the problem with ocean waves is that they're erratic, with the wind making them travel in every direction.
Okay. They mention about erratic, but the answer here is not erratic here, because if you put erratic here, waves can move in any erratic. It doesn't make any sense. But the only thing that makes sense is the word direction. However, there's no mention about any. Well, they change any into every. So in the audio itself, they said in every direction. However, in the question, it's in any. With that being said, then any here is replaced with every. So any is replacing every. So the answer is still a direction, because that is the most logical one to put there. And the last one.
This adds to the difficulty of creating efficient technology. Ideally, all the waves would travel smoothly and regularly along the same straight line. Another drawback is that sand and other sediment on the ocean floor might be stopped from flowing north.
Okay, so they mention about the sand and so on, and then after that they mention about the ocean floor. There is the word ocean here, but the word floor is missing. So with that being said, then floor would be the best answer for this one. And also again, they switch the position, they paraphrase it so so it's kind of like their trick to challenge us to see whether we really understand the context itself. So again, based on the training here, there are several questions in which that they paraphrase it, they change the structure, but the position of the words itself, they change it. So to see whether we really understand the words or the expression itself. So again, it is all about your understanding with the context of the question itself. Okay, and with that being said, then I can easily predict that the answer is floor. First thing first, because floor is a noun. And every time you guys see the or so it's probably going to be a noun most of the time, because those particular words there, it's going to be ended with a noun or an object itself. So with that being said, then you really need to train more, try to give more exposure with the English, try to hear, to listen to podcast videos or whatever that you can find, because it's going to really help you on understanding the language itself. Remember that IELTS itself, it's not enough for you to just read the books about grammar, read the books about the vocabulary, but you also need the real action, the real example of how the language being used, and you can find it simply by seeing videos from YouTube, or perhaps listening to podcasts in which people who speak in English speak their language, and it's going to be all that natural. So you need to really understand that way, not just by reading grammar books, not just by reading the vocabulary book or whatever book related with English, but it's all about how you practice it, and it's all about how you see the real deal, the real example of the language itself. Okay? All right. So that would be our video today. So guys, remember the 4 steps before. First thing first, you need to understand the instruction. That's the first thing that you should understand. And then after that, understand the topic in which you can read or simply listen from the audio mentioned. Number 3 is that you need to try to predict the answer by simply looking at the questions there, and try to just anticipate what kind of words or what kind of words that they might change, what kind of words they might be paraphrased, which one that you think that they're going to switch the position of the word itself. So you really need to do that. And the fourth one, the last one, would be you need to stay focused. How to stay focused? Of course, you need to do step 2 and step 3. If you're not doing that, you're going to have a problem. And after that, you cannot answer it quickly, effectively, and also you cannot do it precisely as well. So please always follow that 4 steps, and I'm sure that if you try to keep practicing on it, and I'm sure that you'll be fine. Other than that 4 steps, and this would be the best thing that I could give to you guys, is that please, you need to expose yourself as much as you can to English language. So if you want to take the Ielts test, I suggest that for a month or 2 months would be the best way, the best duration. Try to listen to every single movie or watch, every single podcast, every single movie that you can find. Try to watch it, try to listen to it, because that's the best thing that you can do in order for you to give yourself self-exposure toward that language. If you do not have that, if you do not self-expose yourself, if you just simply try to rely upon the classes for 1.5 hours and you think that you can get 7, it's impossible, guys. You need to keep exposing yourself toward English. In the classroom, in our preparation class, we simply give you an understanding on how to answer the question. We will give you the systematic understanding. We will give you also an advice, motivation. But again, the exposure itself, 1.5 hours is not enough. It is all about you. It is all about how well you're going to do it, and it's all about how hardworking you are to get the best score that you can get. And especially remember to stay on your target, because you may never aim too high. You need to understand the reality. You need to understand what you need, because if you understand what you need, then it's going to be easier for you to set a manageable goal. If you don't have a manageable goal and you just want simply, for example, we never took any IELTS, you never train IELTS, but you just suddenly want to get IELTS, let's say in the listening you want to get 9, the perfect score, in which, by the way, if you want to get 9, you can only make 1 mistake, only just 1 mistake. So means that it's going to be really hard work. And you really need to train a lot. You need to expose yourself a lot. And that's the key to it. And that's about it. Because in the end, during the test, it's all about you. You're the one that will take. You're the one who will take the test. You're the one who will answer the question with your pencils, and you're the one who will sit down in that test room. Okay, so that's about it. Thanks so much. I'll see you again, guys, in the next video. And don't worry, this is not the last of the listening discussion. We're going to discuss more with a different set of questions and a different set of topic as well. Okay, so thanks so much. I'll see you again in the next video, and have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye.